Imagine standing by your dying wife's hospital bed, holding her trembling hand and hearing her whisper, "I need to tell you something." You think it's a loving goodbye, but what she confesses instead changes everything you ever believed about your marriage and about yourself. When I walked into that hospital room, everything felt cold, too clean, too quiet, too final. Machines beeped softly beside her. She looked fragile, a pale reflection of the woman loved for 20 years. The doctors had said she had maybe a week left. Her illness had spread too far. I'd been sleeping in that chair for nights, barely eating, barely existing, just waiting and praying for a miracle. That evening, as the sun dipped through the blinds, she called my name in a weak voice. I rushed to her side, holding her hand. She smiled faintly, tears forming in her eyes. "There's something I need to tell you before I go," she whispered. I froze. My heart started pounding. "What is it?" I asked softly. She looked away, unable to meet my eyes. "Please, just listen and don't hate me." I thought maybe she was going to apologize for small things, an argument, a mistake. But the moment she took a deep breath, I knew it was something much bigger. "I haven't been honest with you," she said slowly, "about everything." Her words cut through the air like a blade. "I wasn't always faithful," she confessed, her voice trembling. "It happened years ago, just once, but the guilt has followed me ever since." I felt the room spin. I let go of her hand without realizing it. My chest tightened. I couldn't breathe. This woman, the love of my life, the one I'd sacrificed everything for, had chosen this moment, her final days, to tell me she'd betrayed me. My throat burned as I tried to speak, but all that came out was a whisper. "Why now?" "Because," she said weakly, tears streaming down her face, "I can't leave without being honest. You deserve the truth. I couldn't die with this secret between us." I stood there, numb. My mind flashed through our years together. The laughter, the vacations, the birthdays, the nights she held me when I was broken. Were they all lies? After a long silence, I said, "Who was he?" She hesitated. "Someone from work." It meant nothing. I was lost. You were traveling a lot, and I felt alone. It was one night, and I hated myself after. I swear I never saw him again. Her voice cracked, but I couldn't find any comfort in her words. The damage was done. I turned and looked out the window, my hands shaking. I wanted to scream, to cry, to walk out and never come back. But she was dying. There would be no revenge, no argument, just time slipping away. She reached out her hand weakly. "Please, say something." But I didn't. I couldn't. That night, I left the hospital early for the first time. I sat in my car, gripping the steering wheel, trying to process everything. I thought about all the sacrifices I'd made for her, the jobs I turned down, the dreams I delayed, just to build a life together. And now, at the end, all I could think was any of it real? The next morning, when I returned, she was asleep. The nurse told me she'd had a rough night. I sat beside her, staring at her face, searching for anger, but instead, I felt something else. Emptiness. 2 days later, she passed away quietly in her sleep. No last words, no final touch, just silence. At her funeral, people spoke about her kindness, her laughter, her devotion as a wife. I stood there, hearing every word, and smiled politely, but inside I was somewhere else entirely. Weeks turned into months. I sold the house, gave away her things, and tried to move forward. But every time I looked at her old photos, I wondered, did she ever truly love me, or was I just the safe choice? Then one evening, while going through her old letters, I found a sealed envelope addressed to me. My heart pounded as I opened it. Inside was a note in her handwriting. Open quote, "I know what I told you broke your heart, but I need you to know I never stopped loving you. I made one terrible mistake, and I've hated myself every day since. You were my only real home, my only peace. Please don't let my sin destroy the man you are. You deserve to live, to love, and to be happy again. I'm sorry," close quote. For the first time, I cried, not for her, but for the years I lost believing our love was perfect. It wasn't. But maybe it was real, even in its flaws. I didn't forgive her immediately, but over time I learned something important. Forgiveness isn't for the person who hurt you, it's for you, so you can move on without carrying their ghost forever. Now, years later, I visit her grave sometimes, not as the man she betrayed, but as the man who finally let go. If you liked the video, please subscribe and turn on notifications.